Hi, this is MK Goodwin, event director of Anime NYC and Anime Frontier. See, this is bad. Okay. Hi, this is MK Goodwin, event director of Anime NYC and Anime Frontier. You're here with Hubtaku, and keep your head in the clouds.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Air It Out, brought to you by your host, Bonnie. And I am here with the leader of Hubtaku, Tammy. We got some real great things going in this episode because we have, and speaking of royal, we talking about the hair, the lusciousness. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with? Because I'm thoroughly excited. Let's do this.
Hey, everyone. I'm MK Goodwin. I'm probably as far from royal as you can get, but I am very happy to be here, and thank you guys so much for having me. I'm very excited to be talking to you.
I mean, you say you're far from royal, but you know purple is the color of royalty on the color wheel when you talk about color theory and things of that nature. So it's very fitting you got it in your hair today. And I could not do your company justice. I want you to please be able to just tell us who you are, who you're affiliated with, and just like what we're doing here today, if you could.
Yeah, so we're here today to talk about Anime Frontier, but we are part of a larger company called LeftField Media. We do Comic-Cons and anime events all over the country, on the West Coast, on the East Coast, in the South. And it's a really, really great company to work for because we get to make thousands and thousands and thousands of fans happy every year by connecting them with their favorite creators and by connecting them with each other. So our biggest event is Anime NYC, going into its 6th year, which is happening in just a couple weeks in New York City, and then Anime Frontier closely following that 2 weeks after in Texas. So happy to speak more about that stuff with you guys today.
I'm not gonna hold you. We went to Anime Frontier last year and that shit was fire. I'm not gonna lie. It was bro. It was awesome because it's like, first and foremost, my relationship with Texas in general, with it being hot as hell. We went down there. We flew down on this was December. I think we got us some, what was it, Gator Nuggets or something like that?
Gator Nuggets.
It was very peak Texas.
I've had those before. Yeah, they do kind of taste like chicken, but I guess almost everything tastes like chicken. So
we went to that con, and I think the most impressive thing about it, I've gone on record and said this before when we covered it, but Anime Frontier had the greatest plush, just like the amount of plushies and stuff to buy. And we've done a lot of cons that year. Nobody was really touching y'all. Like, we spoke about Pokemon and pre-pro, and y'all have Fuecoco. I don't think you realize how crazy that is.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many different ones that you can hit, right? So happy that they had, the ones that you guys liked. But yeah, that's one of the things that we love about the show is our vendor floor is filled with tons and tons of vendors and creators, hundreds of them, in our artist alley, where you can find things that you just can't find anywhere else. So we're really excited about that, especially with the show happening in December. If people want their Christmas gifts, it is the perfect place to go at that time.
That's a fact, Jack. In the spirit of Air It Out, this interview itself, the way it typically works is we always lead with you being able to allot and just air out on anything. And what that means is randomly in your head today, if you said, you know what, I'm thinking about if it's Pokemon, and I feel like Eevee is a better Pokemon than Pikachu. If it's randomly like, you know what, hey, I just had this cup of coffee today and it reminded me of this one anime that I watched. It could be whatever that's on your mind in that sense. I want to allot you the space to air it out on anything right now.
Yeah. So I actually have something for this in my head, and it's been bothering me for, 16 or 17 years, right? 2023, 2006. So I know, and I should have looked into it. Yeah. So I'm just going to put this out there. Pluto is no longer a planet as of 2006, I believe.
Yeah.
What does this mean for Sailor Pluto? Oh, I don't know. I haven't gotten into it, but it's been something that's been bothering me, obviously, for a very long time. Does she get to stay in the Sailor Scouts? Does she got to do something else? Like, I don't know. But yeah, it just seems like that's a problem. with Pluto being downgraded that no one's been talking. So I would like to air that out right now.
So I'll have you know, you hopped on this call with two Moonies. So like you bringing that up just brought joy into our hearts right now.
That's my
Tammy
gateway. That was my gateway anime.
Same.
The best gateway anime. The best one.
Were you one of those who like was up at 4 a.m. watching it just like everybody else? Or when were you a Toonami child? Like how
Toonami child. Yeah, that's how it kind of came into my life. Like, and Toonami was just it's what got me started on it. And so if anyone loves to talk about like the nostalgic anime, like that's my thing. That's what I grew up on. So definitely Sailor Moon was one of the ones that I actually went out and pursued more of the content, because you couldn't get like, I think it was past like R or S in the US. So there was some shipping of VHS tapes that were subbed from people I met in chat rooms to make sure that I could get access to the entire series. But yeah, it was definitely the one that I came in on, and the one that I still remains nearest and dearest to my heart. So, and the Moonies that are still out there, like, it's still going strong.
Still going strong. There's a whole I follow a blog that just promotes only new Sailor Moon merchandise, and it still goes out like every other month. There's a new release, just as close as Pokemon. Like it's pretty top tier. And he has Vonnie has a
love that
Black Moon Clan.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So the evil one, huh? I mean, I feel like that's pretty fitting. Like, I know I've only known Vonnie for like 10 minutes, but like, I'm like, I can see this.
I'm an agent of chaos. So like, you hit the nail on the head. What you see is what you get.
Appreciate that.
To answer your question though, regarding Pluto, I'm standing 10 toes firmly in the fact that it got, I guess, demoted to a dwarf planet is the word that they call it, or something like that.
Okay. Or like, I thought it was like an asteroid or something now. Like, I don't know, but I just...
Listen, when we was in elementary school and we had to do science class and everything, Pluto was a planet. I took so many tests having to deal with that, and they asked me to remember all the names of them. Pluto in my spirit is still real to me.
It is very, very real to me as well. And honestly, if you guys are Moonies, Sailor Pluto got the shaft to begin with. So... like, she didn't get to hang out with anybody else. So I've been concerned for that for a very long time. So thank you guys for letting me talk about it with you and sharing the anxiety around it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You know what's funny? Like, in the era, just like the shaft aspect and just like, not really being associated with people. It's funny because that's a complete opposite of y'all and you specifically in what you do, because you are I like to call you a commander of community. You build community, you create community, you harvest it, you cultivate it, if you will. And it's shown, bro, 6 years down the line, and look at what's come from, the anime frontier, anime NYC, all of that. Like, that's amazing in itself. And that leads into, I think, our first question is like, how do you go about building community if you're somebody who wants to do it, like from the ground up?
Yeah. So I like to say that, there's so many things at our shows, right? We have a ton of guests, we have a ton of panels. There's a million different things that you can interact with, but my favorite thing is the fans who come to the show interacting with each other, where they meet someone in line or they meet someone shopping for the same thing in the exhibit hall. That is what these shows are based on. It's those day-to-day, these minute interactions where people can actually develop new friends and new relationships. And of course, we work with a lot of community groups and different people in the market, but it is the fans themselves building those relationships at our shows that makes me the most proud of what we do. And I think you guys seem to come kind of from the same spot I am, where it wasn't always cool to be into anime. And I had no idea that cons like this existed. And when I found out, I was like, oh, like, my people are here. My people are here. Like, I'm not the weird anime kid in the corner anymore. Like, not only am I welcome here, I'm celebrated here. And that's what Anime Frontier is based off on. And I think like one of my proudest moments is, I think it was just last year, I saw a couple walking around. They were dressed as Inuyasha and Kagome. And I love group costumes. I love couples costumes. So I went up and I was like, you guys, like, you're so cute. You look great. And we got to talking. They had met at Anime Frontier the prior year.
That's
So
crazy.
like these people are potentially life partners with each other, right? And it started at Anime Frontier, and there are so many stories like that for so many shows that we've done. So like I know I'm not doing brain surgery here, much to my mother's disappointment, or arguing like something in front of the Supreme Court, but like that to me is something so incredibly special and rewarding about being able to do this.
Man, you said, you know what? Fuck Tinder. We got Anime Frontier. That's beautiful though. It's like, the experience that we had there, everything was great. The people were great. The food was great. The vibes, everything was just all set in stone. There were no issues. There were no issues that I ran into just like with people or anything in general. That building of community, I think, is so important because people like us who don't really have that platform. And that's something even I struggle with, I think, now in my 30s. It's like, in 30s, sometimes I'm around people, I'm like, I don't really feel like I connect with you. I don't really feel like I'm a part of you. It feels like I'm kind of just like there. Yep. And then there's everybody else around that's kind of like, all right, well, y'all might be connected, but I'm this odd man out. But it feels like everybody is the odd man out, but then those odd men become a clique and become a unit.
Yep. All of a sudden at these shows, they become the unodd men in, right? Like everyone can kind of come together and they just get to, like, I think it's how we all connected at the beginning of this interview is when, I would start talking about Sailor Moon and you guys were like, we're Moonies. And then like that look on my face where I'm just like, yes, like I love this, you love this, let's talk about this because you care as much of what happens to Sailor Pluto as I do. Right. So, and that's amazing. And the show is built around that feeling.
You know how crazy it is being in, this was 5th grade or 6th grade. And this is back when we had CD players. Like, I'm aging myself now. But
you're there with me. So.
Right. So like I had the burnt CD that, all the MP3s that I would download from the internet, go on LimeWire, do what I got to do, downloading the Sailor Moon soundtrack. Now I pay for it because you pay for your stuff.
You do. Yes, now you do, but it's not our fault that it wasn't available back then.
No, it was different time. It was a wild West time. Now I subscribe and pay for every single thing. Isn't that right? In that moment though, I had the burnt CD and then having like people next to me saying like, hey, what are you listening to? And I got a lot of them and say 50 Cent. And it's like, no, I'm listening to Inuyasha. I'm listening to Fukai Mori. It's like they take the headphones now, it's Boku Tachi wa. And it's like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but if you can find other people that you connect with over it, like I remember like, now I'm really aging myself. Like I was in like a Sam Goody or a Tower Records and the first Pokemon movie had just come out in the US and I was like looking at the CD. I'm like, oh, like some of those songs in that movie like really slapped. Like I'm gonna buy this. And I remember my friend being like, oh my God, like put that down, put that away, don't let anyone see you. And just kind of like the shame that I had to feel around that. Like it's just so wrong. And I think a lot of people encountered that when they were younger. And I'm so happy that we're in a time right now where we can have these events and people can celebrate each other and bond over it. It's just something that that feeling always stuck with me, but then also that feeling of kind of finding my home amongst fellow fans is just so amazing.
I'm gonna let you know now, your friend a hater because that soundtrack was a slapper. Any song that don't
Britney Spears and Sync,
you don't
M to M. Yeah,
right.
If you really want me, give me some time. Like that is.
Don't go there, baby. Not before I'm ready. Don't say Hearts in a Hurry.
Not like we're gonna get married.
Give like. I'm showing.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing. I mean, that song is about consent. And we all know the late 90s and the early 2000s were a mess. Like, don't tell me anime wasn't progressive.
Thank you. Like, literally, that song is about, hey, bro, I don't want to do this right now. Let's work towards this.
Yep. Well, and like we're talking about Sailor Moon, like how many strong female characters were there back in the 90s for like me and Tammy to look at? The anime had them in spades, right? Yeah. Where I liked my Batman and my Superman. I watched all that stuff, but like this was different. This was something for me, and it was awesome.
And I think y'all deserve that. Like y'all deserve that. I'm glad now. Like, and not for nothing, I looked at the cast of people you're bringing in. Very like just a lot of ladies really coming in and being a guest, voice actors and just like the actual panel folk. Like I think that's amazing in itself. I think it's needed now more than ever especially just considering just the state of voice acting in general, and a lot of that. So it's important to be able to show that visibility and to put y'all on that platform, on that pedestal, and say, hey, we are at the forefront, just like guys are at the forefront too.
Yeah, definitely. And like magical girl animes were always some of my favorite, just because I think it was the most relatable for me. So that's why I'm so excited. And I know it can be kind of harder to get Japanese voice actors Seiyu into the US. So us having Chiwa Saito there this year is absolutely amazing. And so I've definitely got Madoka Magica on my watch list because I have not seen it. But I know so many people, like when we announced her, people just they lost their minds. They're so excited to see her. I know she's so excited to come and visit the US. So I think that's something that's really cool about this year is having Japanese guests like Chiwa, or Aki Bright is coming as well. I'm sure you guys are familiar with him, but really accomplished artist. So excited to interact with the fans. Actually asked us, like, what do you think? Like, what kind of inspiration from the artwork can we do? Because he'll be doing live art. So just really exciting that the world's kind of opened up, and that it's possible to get people from Japan again into these events, because for a while it had to be American voice actors because of COVID. So
like, even me and Tammy were talking, even just how hard I know it was for y'all with last year with Yoko. Like that was the Tammy, do you remember when we spoke about that?
We were so excited, but when we got the email, I think we just landed in Texas, and then we were out shopping for like stuff for like the Airbnb we were staying at, and then we got the email and said it was canceled. We were so sad, like, I'm devastated.
You know how that goes, like, especially in the nature of all of that. That actually prompted one of our questions that I wanted to bring up, just like how difficult it is to maintain a quality level of service. And this is coming from somebody, like, I have a background in customer service in general, so like I know what it's like for y'all when y'all got to deal with situations like that, or just people in general. I don't want to say entitlement per se, but you see something and it's progressing so well and you want to be a part of it, so it's like, I wish you would tailor make this way, or I wish maybe you do this. So I know y'all get a lot of those inquiries in. How hard is it to navigate that?
I think the most challenging thing for me, honestly, is letting anyone down. But of course, I mean, there's so many, if there's 20,000 people coming to the event, you can't make every single one of them happy. So what we do is we do a lot of talking and listening with our fans. And my goal is to make the most people happy. So we saw last year there was an increased desire to have more Japanese guests at the show. So that kind of reflects our guest list this year. So it's a lot of listening, and it's, for me, just acknowledging myself, like, I actually can't make everyone happy, but we'll do everything we can to make the vast majority of people at our show happy with the things that we bring in.
Love that. You can't make everybody happy. In a world of where white glove service is king, it's hard to not get those gloves stained a little bit here and there, but it's kind of like there's a level of fuck it, we got to do what we got to do. I think there's a level of utilitarianism, the maximum amount of the good for the maximum amount of people also as well. It's been working for y'all so far. Even with y'all scaling, y'all are still scaling at a relatively well pace. I think y'all are very professional with how y'all deal with a lot of things too. Shout out to Evie, because I think she's one of the best press. I say she's one of the best press people that we've ever dealt with.
Yeah, and Evie's absolutely fantastic. Love working
absolutely. With her. Wanted to make sure that was spotlighted too, because it's like, again, we speak about ladies and getting their shine, and just like in the space and community, y'all really be holding this shit down.
No, I think that's valid, because a lot of people don't, even in anime references, a lot of people don't know that some of the best animes produced ever are like curated by women or made by women. So like to have some of the best to have some of the best conferences, in my opinion, too, just because of the amount of Japanese guests that you guys get to bring in. We go to a lot of cons yearly, and they don't have as many Japanese guests. Other cons we go to may be more creator focused or content creator focused, or more local artist focused, or local voice actors, etc. So I think you guys making that bridge for fans to connect with what they really love is really cool, because there's not much of it out here.
It's a favorite part of the job is connecting people with things that they love and other people who love it too.
I'm glad you just said that, because that was going to be my next question. What is your proudest experience working in this field? Like you're not, I know that the job's not done. I know there's so much more to be done, but like as it stands today, just looking back on what you've done so far, at one point, like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah. I would have to say one of the ones that's up there was the Inuyasha Kagome story.
Yeah.
Just knowing that we could impact somebody's life like that by just simply, creating this kind of foundation to bring people together. Some of my other moments that are super fun as well is I like to go over to the autographing area, and I like to, if I've got some time, I'll stand at the front of the line and see people just absolutely like lose their shit in the best of ways in front of some of our guests, right? And being able to kind of deliver just to connect people with this thing that they love the most and that resonates so much with them that they just, the tears start streaming down their face because they're so happy to meet this voice actor or this guest. Like that kind of stuff is amazing, and we get to experience it year after year, and it's honestly it's such a gift. Like this show is all of our shows are these massive productions that can be really difficult and hard and long hours to put together, but when you see those kind of things, it's all worth it.
That's real shit. I know we're coming up on time soon. Tammy, I wanted to see if you had a question before we get into our favorite last section of every interview we do.
Well, can we take a quick pause? Like, MK, do you have to go immediately? You have another one after this, or?
I do. I have one at 1:30. Okay. So if you want to just do last segment, this is like another big surprise.
Sure.
Ready.
Oh, so
yeah, go for it.
Very last segment that we do is before people go, we always like to make sure we give them their flowers. Now, MK, unfortunately, you have to receive some flowers right now, and we want to tell you how great you are. So I know how important and just hard it is to be able to build a community like this. I know how wild it is to have to and can do this consistently for 6 years down the stretch. Just keep doing it and keep being successful. And you have to keep scaling up and keep scaling up and keep doing it. It's really hard, really fucking hard. You have effectively taken this beast and made it probably one of the best things smoking right now in this community. And people are now really starting to just gravitate more towards it. People are now starting to gravitate more towards you. People are now starting to really just speak, I guess, the name of just you, just the name of Anime Frontier, everything like that. I think you're getting your just due. I think you deserve even more of it right now. And I think that you're going out this year as well and really going in with a bang, saying like this year right now, this is going to be one of those ones. You have to be a part of this. You have to make sure that you're on top of this. That comes with a level of perseverance that not a lot of people have. And I hope that you some days can stop, sit back, smell the flowers as you brush back your purple hair and say, damn, I actually really did a lot just now. And I know that maybe not a lot of people can do this, but I did this. And maybe I'm kind of fucking awesome for doing this.
You guys are amazing for saying that. Thank you so much. And honestly, the show and what we do is a reflection of our team that puts it on, which is, a few dozen people. And then honestly, you guys are part of this community. And I think what you just did embodies this community, the empathy and the appreciation for each other. Like that's the whole story right there. That's what this show is. It's showing appreciation for each other and what we love. So thank you so much. And I hope that everyone's able to come to the show this year and really enjoy themselves, because that's why we're there.
Hey, listen, y'all out there, y'all seeing this, make sure y'all pull up, make sure y'all show out, enjoy yourselves, have a great time, wash your ass, make sure everything about it is absolutely lovely. But the most important thing I want to leave y'all with is make sure you continue to keep your head in the clouds.